The year was 2157 when humanity first made contact with the Galactic Council. The massive alien station hung in space like a glittering wheel, its silver spires reaching outward in all directions. The human ship, UES Vanguard, looked tiny next to it. Ambassador Nick Green stared through the viewport at the alien structure. His gray suit felt too tight around his neck. This meeting would decide the future of Earth. He took a deep breath. "Ready, sir?" asked Lieutenant Laura Bennett. Her uniform was spotless, her posture perfect. As military advisor to the diplomatic team, she kept a wary eye on everything. "As ready as I'll ever be," said Green. "Remember, we represent all of Earth today." The human delegation boarded the station through a long, clear tube. Inside, they saw many different alien species moving about. Some had too many limbs, others had skin in strange colors. The air smelled sweet, like fruit that wasn't quite ripe. A tall, blue-skinned alien with 4 arms greeted them. "Welcome to the Central Hub. I am High Arbiter Sixtal of the Vordaxian Empire, senior representative of the Galactic Council." Green stepped forward. "On behalf of Earth and all humans, we thank you for this invitation. We hope this marks the beginning of a peaceful relationship between our worlds." Zixtal made a sound like quiet bells. "Indeed, the Council has admitted 312 species in its long history. The process is quite routine for us, though surely momentous for your kind." Lieutenant Bennett noticed the small twitch in Zixtal's upper left eye. Her training in reading human faces suggested it might be contempt, but who knew with aliens? The delegation was led to a massive round room. 27 alien representatives sat in elevated seats around them. Green couldn't help but feel like they were on trial. "The Council has prepared a standard admission treaty," said Zixtal, waving one of his 4 hands. A holographic document appeared in front of Green. "Simply approve, and Earth will gain the Council's protection and technology sharing rights." Green's eyes narrowed as he skimmed the document. "We'll need time to review this properly," he said. A reptilian alien with red scales leaned forward. "Is there a problem?" "This is a standard agreement. All new species sign it." Bennett stepped closer to Green and whispered, "They're rushing us." "That's never a good sign." Green nodded slightly. "We appreciate your offer, but Earth protocol requires careful review of all treaties. We'll need at least 3 days to examine the terms." The aliens looked at each other. Some made clicking sounds. Others hissed softly. "Very well," said Zixtal, his upper arms crossing in obvious annoyance. "Though such caution is unnecessary. The Council has only your best interests in mind." Later, in their private quarters, the human team gathered around a table. The treaty floated above them as a hologram. "Something isn't right," said Dr. Alan Foster, the team's linguist. His fingers moved through the hologram, separating layers of text. "There are subtle meanings here that the translator isn't catching." "Like what?" asked Green. "This clause about resource sharing. The wording suggests they get access to mine Earth resources without clear limits." Susan Wells, their communication specialist, looked up from her computer. "Sir, I've intercepted some encrypted messages between Council members. They're not being careful with their security. I think they believe our technology is too primitive to detect them." "What do they say?" Bennett asked. "They're discussing Earth's rich mineral deposits and useful biological specimens. One message refers to humans as simple but potentially useful labor." Green's face hardened. "So that's how it is. They see us as a resource, not as equals." "There's more," said Foster, still examining the treaty. "These provisions would effectively make Earth a protectorate with limited rights. We'd have no real vote in Council matters." Bennett stood up straight. "They're not looking for allies. They're looking for subjects." Green looked around at his team. "Then we need a new approach. We came here hoping for friendship, but I won't let Earth be exploited." He straightened his tie. "Let's show these aliens that humans aren't as simple as they think." Outside their window, The stars shone coldly against the black of space. The council station rotated slowly, unaware that their standard procedure had just run into something very non-standard: human pride. Dr. Alan Foster hadn't slept in 2 days. His eyes burned as he stared at the alien text of the treaty. The more he translated, the worse it looked. He rubbed his face and took another sip of cold coffee. "I found something else," he said as Ambassador Green entered the room. "Look at this section about cultural exchange. The wording is clever, but it basically gives them the right to take humans for study without our consent." Green leaned over Foster's shoulder. "Are you certain? That would violate every principle of diplomacy. I've checked it 3 times. The translation software missed it because they used specialized legal terms, but the meaning is clear." Susan Wells burst into the room, her tablet clutched tightly in her hand. "Sir, you need to see this. I've broken into more of their communication channels." She placed her tablet on the table. "They've been scanning Earth extensively. This message discusses our oceans as perfect for waste dumping, and another talks about relocating troublesome species to our national parks." Green's face darkened. "They see our home as nothing but a resource to exploit." Lieutenant Bennett entered with Captain John Miller, head of the Vanguard security team. His uniform was wrinkled, and a bruise was forming on his jaw. "What happened?" Green asked. "Caught 3 council security officers trying to access our ship's medical bay," Miller said. "They were attempting to steal human blood and tissue samples. When I confronted them, they claimed it was a routine security check." Bennett folded her arms. "Nothing routine about it. They want our genetic information." Green paced the room. "We've been here 3 weeks, and all we've discovered is more deception. It's time to confront them directly." Later that day, the human delegation met with the council representatives. The alien faces showed various expressions, some impossible to read, others clearly annoyed at being summoned. "High Arbiter Zixtal," Green began, "we have discovered numerous concerning elements in your treaty. It appears to be designed to strip Earth of its autonomy and resources." A ripple of movement passed through the council members. Zixtal's blue skin darkened slightly. "Your primitive translation must be flawed," he said. "The treaty is standard for all new species." "We verify our findings," Foster said. "The treaty would make Earth little more than a colony." A large insect-like alien stepped forward. "I am Kralvox of the Shiveran Collective. Your accusations are typical of primitive paranoia. The Council has helped hundreds of developing worlds advance." "Is that what you call it?" "Help." Green held up Wells' tablet. "We've intercepted your communications about dumping waste in our oceans and using our lands for your purposes without our consent." The room fell silent. "Furthermore," Green continued, "your security personnel attempted to steal biological samples from our ship." Captain Miller stepped forward. "I have video evidence of the attempt." Kralvox made a harsh clicking sound. "Isolated incidents by overzealous individuals." "I don't believe that," Green said firmly. "Every piece of evidence points to a systematic plan to exploit Earth. We came here as potential friends and allies. Instead, you've treated us as primitive fools to be manipulated." Zixtal's 4 arms moved in a complex gesture. "You misunderstand our intentions. The Council has operated this way for millennia. Newer species require guidance." "You mean control," Bennett said. "We can discuss modifications to certain terms," Zixtal offered, his tone suddenly conciliatory. Green shook his head. "The problem isn't specific terms. It's your entire approach. We demand a completely new treaty, one that recognizes Earth as a full and equal member." "Impossible," said a gray-skinned alien from the back. "No new species receives such status." "Then perhaps Earth will be the first," Green replied. Kralvox stepped closer, looming over Green. "Without the Council's protection, your planet is vulnerable. There are many dangers in the galaxy." Bennett moved slightly, positioning herself between Green and the large alien. "Is that a threat?" "Merely a statement of fact," Kralvox said. The Council's patience has limits. Green looked around the room at the alien faces. Some showed anger, others calculation, none showed respect. So does humanity's patience, Green said quietly. And I believe yours ran out before we even arrived. 3 months had passed since the first meeting with the Galactic Council. 3 months of circular talks, hidden threats, and growing frustration. Ambassador Nick Green sat alone in his quarters aboard the UES Vanguard, staring at the communication screen. The faces of Earth's United Nations Security Council looked back at him, their expressions grim. They won't budge, Green explained. Every compromise we suggest is met with delays or new demands. I believe they're simply waiting for us to give in. The UN Secretary General nodded slowly. We've reviewed all your reports, Ambassador. The situation is concerning. Concerning doesn't begin to cover it, said Green. I recommend we consider withdrawing from these talks. A murmur ran through the Security Council members. That's a serious step, one said. I know, but continuing these talks signals that their behavior is acceptable. It isn't. The door to Green's quarters slid open, and Major Frank Cooper entered. The intelligence officer carried a tablet and looked even more serious than usual. Excuse me, Ambassador, but you need to see this immediately. Green turned to the screen. I need a moment, please. He muted the connection and turned to Cooper. What is it? Cooper handed him the tablet. Our long-range sensors detected these ships 3 hours ago. They're Council vessels, scanning Earth's defenses. Green studied the images. They're preparing for something. Yes, sir. And there's more. Cooper swiped to another image. These are medical ships, but our scans show they're equipped with sampling equipment. I believe they're preparing for large-scale collection of Earth specimens. Green unmuted the call. Ladies and gentlemen, I have new information that makes our decision more urgent. He shared the data Cooper had brought. The Council is likely preparing for action against Earth, regardless of our talks. After an hour of discussion, the vote was unanimous. Earth would withdraw from the peace talks. The next day, the human delegation entered the Council chamber one last time. The aliens seemed surprised to see them all wearing their formal uniforms. We expected your response to our latest proposal, Zixtal said. Have you finally seen reason? Green stood tall. We have indeed, but perhaps not as you hoped. Earth is officially withdrawing from these negotiations. The chamber erupted in alien voices. Some shouted, others made high-pitched whistling sounds. Zixtal raised all 4 arms for silence. This is unprecedented, he said. No species has ever withdrawn from council talks. Then consider us the first, Green replied. For 3 months, we've negotiated in good faith while you've planned behind our backs. We know about your ships scanning Earth's defenses. We know about your plans to collect specimens from our population. Kralvok stepped forward. You misunderstand routine security measures. Lieutenant Bennett laughed without humor. Your excuses are as transparent as your intentions. Green moved to the center of the chamber. Let me be clear about humanity's position. We came seeking friendship and found deception. We offered cooperation and met manipulation. We will not join a council that treats us as resources rather than equals. This is a grave mistake, Zixtal said. Without council protection, there are many who would take advantage of your primitive world, including the council itself, it seems, Green replied. We'll take our chances. Humanity has survived on its own for thousands of years. We'll manage a while longer. Dr. Olivia Martinez, the delegation's xenobiologist, stepped forward. Your biological sampling plans confirm my suspicions. You see us as test subjects, not partners. Your departure will have consequences, Kralvok warned. The council does not look kindly on rejection. Green smiled for the first time in weeks. Neither does humanity. If you threaten Earth or any human settlement, you will discover that we're far more dangerous than our primitive technology suggests. The delegation turned as one and walked toward the exit. Before leaving, Green looked back at the council members. We hope someday to meet again as equals. Until then, Earth stands alone, but standing nonetheless. The doors closed behind them with a final, heavy sound. The decision was made. The consequences would follow. 6 months passed since humanity withdrew from the peace talks. The Council's response was swift but indirect. They never declared war. That would have looked bad to the other species watching. Instead, they found other ways to punish Earth. Ambassador Green stood at the window of his office in Geneva, looking at the rain. His assistant handed him a tablet with the latest reports. "More sanctions?" he asked. "Yes, sir. The Council has blocked human ships from using 3 more trade routes. Our Mars colony is running low on specialized parts they can't manufacture locally." Green sighed. And the attacks. 2 more last week. Council officials claimed they were independent pirates, but the ships match Council military designs. They just removed the official markings. The door opened, and Lieutenant Commander Patricia Jones walked in. Her uniform was wrinkled, and dark circles showed under her eyes. She had just returned from Jupiter Station, which had faced the worst of the Council's unofficial attacks. "Commander Jones, good to see you in one piece," Green said. "Barely, sir." Jones pulled up images on the main screen. They came disguised as a routine inspection team. Said they needed to check for illegal technology. When we refused to let them board, they dropped all pretense and attacked. The screen showed Jupiter Station with clear damage to its outer ring. Burn marks from energy weapons scared the hull. "Casualties?" Green asked quietly. 12 injured, 3 critically. No deaths, thankfully. We managed to drive them off. How? Their ships should outclass ours by centuries. Jones allowed herself a small smile. That's what they thought too. But we've been busy these past 6 months. The new shield technology we reverse-engineered from the data we gathered during the talks helped. And they didn't expect us to have energy weapons yet. Green nodded. "Good work, but we can't keep fighting defensive battles forever." Major Cooper entered with a security team. "Sir, we've arrested 3 Council sympathizers in Buenos Aires. They were attempting to sabotage the new defense grid installation. Let me guess, they claim to be acting alone." "Of course, but their equipment is definitely Council tech." Green turned back to the window. "The Council is following a classic playbook. Apply pressure from all sides, deny involvement, and wait for us to give in." Meanwhile, Jones added, "They're running a propaganda campaign across the galaxy. Their official statement calls humans dangerously unpredictable and claims we need to be contained for the safety of all civilized species." Green shook his head, "All because we refuse to be exploited." His communication panel lit up with an incoming call. The face of Narration, a representative of the Calivi, a smaller species not fully aligned with the Council, appeared on screen. "Ambassador Green, forgive the unscheduled contact." "Not at all. Representative, what can I do for you?" Narration glanced around nervously. "I speak unofficially. My government cannot risk openly opposing the Council, but you should know, the Council is preparing a larger action against Earth. They call it a peacekeeping fleet." Green's expression hardened. "When?" "1 Earth year from your withdrawal. They believe it will take you that long to deplete your resources under their sanctions." "Thank you for this information, Representative. We won't forget who our friends are." After the call ended, Jones looked at Green. 6 more months until their big push." Green nodded. "Then we have 6 months to prepare a surprise for them." He turned to his team. "Contact all Earth Defense Forces and get me a secure line to Kevin Davidson at the research facility in Colorado. It's time to accelerate the special projects." Outside, the rain stopped. A ray of sunlight broke through the clouds. Green took it as a good sign. The Council thought they were slowly strangling the helpless planet. They had no idea what humanity could do when cornered. 1 year had passed since humanity walked away from the Galactic Council's peace talks. The day the Council's peacekeeping fleet was due to arrive had come. On Earth, People looked to the sky with worry. But behind that worry was determination. Chief Engineer Kevin Davidson hadn't slept in 3 days. His team worked around the clock in the massive underground facility beneath the Rocky Mountains. Hundreds of engineers and scientists moved with purpose among strange machines that glowed with blue and purple light. Final checks complete, Davidson said, wiping sweat from his forehead. The quantum shields are ready. Ambassador Green nodded. And they have no idea we have this technology. None. We kept all testing below ground or on the far side of the moon. As far as the Council knows, we're still using basic deflector shields. Green turned to Dr. Hannah Blackwell, who sat surrounded by floating screens filled with complex code. And your system? Blackwell didn't look up from her work. The AI Defense Network is online. It's already predicting their most likely attack patterns based on all previous Council military actions we've observed. She finally looked up, pushing her glasses back into place. They think they know how we fight. They don't. In orbit above Earth, Lieutenant Commander Jones stood on the bridge of Earth's newest ship, the UES Defiant. It was smaller than Council vessels but packed with technology that didn't exist 1 year ago. Multiple hyperspace signatures detected, reported her sensor officer. Council ships arriving. Jones straightened her uniform. Battle stations. Engaged stealth systems. The Council fleet appeared in a flash of light. 27 warships, arranged in perfect formation. Their design was meant to intimidate. All sharp angles and weapon ports. At their center was a massive command ship twice the size of the others. On that command ship, High Arbiter Zixtal watched Earth on his view screen. "Prepare the announcement," he ordered. "Inform Earth that they are now under Council protection. Any resistance will be met with appropriate force." His second-in-command, a reptilian officer, looked confused. "Sir, our sensors detect no defensive fleet, only a few small stations." Zixtal made a sound like tinkling bells, his species' version of laughter. As expected, their withdrawal was foolish bravado. They'd had no time to develop proper defenses. Back on Earth, in the command center, Green gave the order. "Activate quantum shields." Davidson pressed his hand against a glowing panel. "Shields active." Across Earth, massive generators buried in strategic locations powered up. A shimmering, nearly invisible field surrounded the planet. On the Council command ship, alarms blared. "Sir," the reptilian officer shouted. "Energy field detected around the planet." "Impossible," Zixtal said. "Their technology is centuries away from planetary shields." "It's not a standard shield," the officer replied. I don't recognize the pattern. Our sensors can't penetrate it." Zixtal's blue skin darkened in anger. "Launch the first wave. Target their orbital stations. Show them the consequence of defiance." Council ships moved forward, firing bright green energy beams at Earth's orbital defenses. The beams approached the shield, and then vanished. In the Earth Command Center, Dr. Blackwell smiled. "The quantum shields are absorbing their energy weapons, exactly as designed." Jones' voice came through the communication system. "Command, this is Defiant. Request permission to reveal our position." Green nodded. "Granted, Commander. Show them what they're really facing." Throughout the space around Earth, ships appeared as if from nowhere. Not a handful of defensive vessels, but a fleet of 30 sleek warships. They had been there all along, hidden by technology the Council didn't believe humans could possess. On the Council command ship, Zixtal stared in disbelief. Where did they come from? How did they build so many ships in 1 year? "Sir," his officer said, voice shaking, "they're powering weapons. And, sir, they're using energy signatures similar to our own technology." Zixtal gripped his command chair with all 4 hands. For the first time, he felt something he never expected to feel toward humans. News of the failed Council attack spread quickly across the galaxy. The mighty Galactic Council, which had ruled space for thousands of years, had been forced to retreat by a species they had dismissed as primitive. The story grew with each telling. Soon, even the most distant worlds heard how human ships had outmaneuvered Council vessels, how Earth's shields had absorbed the Council's weapons, and how the humans had shown mercy by allowing the defeated fleet to limp away. Admiral Richard Porter stood on the bridge of the UES Defiant, reviewing reports from across the solar system. The Council had pulled back all their forces, even from the outer colonies they had been harassing for months. "Sir, we're receiving another contact request," said his communications officer. "This is the 5th one today." Porter nodded. "Who is it this time?" "The Vexari. They're a species from the Outer Rim, previously aligned with the Council." "Put them through." The screen lit up with the image of a tall, slender alien with silver skin. Admiral Porter: "I am Elder Shrin of the Vexari Confederation. We wish to discuss possible alliance with Earth." Porter kept his face neutral, though inside he felt satisfaction. "We're open to peaceful relations with all species, Elder Shrin. I'll forward your request to our diplomatic team." After the call ended, Porter turned to his second-in-command. The dominoes continue to fall. The Council's grip is weakening. "Sir, we've also received a transmission from the Drillari. They wish to share their cloaking technology with us as a gesture of friendship." Porter raised an eyebrow. "The Drillari? They've been neutral for centuries. This is significant." Back on Earth, Ambassador Green met with representatives from 3 species who had broken away from Council control. The meeting room in Geneva was designed to accommodate various alien physiologies, with different atmospheric sections and gravity controls. "We've suffered under Council rule for generations," said the representative from Talos, a world known for its artists and philosophers. "They take our resources and give little in return. Your resistance has shown us another path is possible." Green nodded. "Earth seeks friendship, not dominance. We believe all species have the right to self-determination." "The Council has begun to fracture," added another representative, a being made of crystalline structures that glowed as it spoke. "Several senior members are questioning their leadership. This has never happened before." In orbit around Mars, Lieutenant Commander Jones supervised the installation of new defensive systems. A small ship approached, broadcasting urgent signals. "Commander," called her security officer, "the ship is requesting emergency docking. They claim to have a Council defector aboard." Jones frowned. "Scan them thoroughly. This could be a trick." But the scans showed only one life form aboard, and the ship carried no weapons. Jones allowed them to dock under heavy guard. The airlock opened to reveal a tall, thin alien with pale green skin. "I am Tevlon, senior scientist of the Council's Biological Research Division. I seek asylum." Jones kept her hand near her weapon. "Why should we trust you?" Tevlon placed a data crystal on the floor and stepped back. "Because I bring information about the Council's biological weapons program. They plan to release a virus engineered specifically for human DNA." The data confirmed Tevlon's claim. The Council, desperate after their military defeat, had authorized a last-resort biological attack on Earth. Admiral Porter called an emergency meeting with Earth's leadership. "With this information, we can develop countermeasures," Dr. Blackwell said. "But we should do more than just defend." Green looked up. "What do you suggest?" "A counteroffensive, not with weapons, but with truth. We broadcast everything we've learned about the Council to every species in the galaxy. Show them who the real threat to peace is." Porter nodded. "And we use our new alliances to establish a different kind of interstellar community, one based on mutual respect rather than domination." Green looked around the table at the determined faces. What had begun as a desperate stand against subjugation had become something more, the beginning of a new galactic order. Outside, ships from Earth's new allies entered orbit, their diverse designs a stark contrast to the uniform Council vessels. The tide was turning, and the Council knew it. 2 years after humanity withdrew from the Council's peace talks, Ambassador Nick Green stood once again in a shuttle approaching the massive Council station. But this time, everything was different. The shuttle was larger, more advanced, and bore the emblem of the Coalition of Free Worlds. The new alliance Earth had formed with 7 other species. "Nervous?" asked Leary, the Drillari representative. Her translucent skin shimmered with blue light, showing her calm emotional state. "A little," admitted Green. "Last time I left this station, I was unsure if Earth would survive the Council's retaliation. And now you return as the leader of the most powerful new force in the galaxy," said Commander Ziv of the Vexeri, his silver skin reflecting the shuttle's lights. "The Council must recognize your coalition or risk further isolation." The shuttle docked at the station. Unlike before, they were met not by junior officials, but by High Arbiter Zixtal himself, flanked by representatives from the most powerful Council races. "Ambassador Green," Zixtal said, his 4 arms held in a formal greeting position. "The Council welcomes you and your associates." Green noticed the hesitation. "Not associates, High Arbiter. Allies and equals. The Coalition of Free Worlds comes to discuss new terms of galactic cooperation." The Council chamber was packed, not just with official representatives, but with observers from dozens of worlds. Many were considering joining the Coalition, and they wanted to witness this historic meeting. Green stood in the center of the chamber, surrounded by his delegation. 2 years ago, I stood here and announced humanity's withdrawal from your peace talks. You threatened consequences. You attempted to isolate us. You even planned biological warfare against Earth. Murmurs ran through the chamber at this last revelation. "Yet here we stand," Green continued. "Not broken, but stronger. Not alone, but with allies who share our vision of a galaxy where all species are treated with respect." He gestured to the Coalition representatives, the artistic Telosians, the crystalline Lumari, the technologically advanced Drillari, and others. "We have formed the Coalition based on principles of mutual respect and genuine cooperation. No species dominates another. Resources are shared fairly. Technology is exchanged freely." From the back of the Council chamber, a representative of the Vordaxian Empire stood. The Vordaxians were one of the founding members of the Council, and among its most influential voices. "The Coalition's principles sound admirable," the Vordaxian said, "but the Council has maintained galactic stability for millennia. What evidence do you have that your approach is superior?" Green smiled. "Look around you. 7 former Council client races now stand with us as equals. Our combined technological advancement in the past 2 years exceeds what many of your worlds achieved in centuries under Council guidance. And we've done this not by controlling resources or enforcing hierarchies, but by working together as equals." Another Council member stood, this one from a mid-tier race called the Narvians. "The Narvian cluster has observed your coalition with interest. We formally request to open membership negotiations." This caused an uproar. The Narvians controlled important trade routes, and their defection would be a significant blow to the Council. Green watched as more representatives stood to express similar interests. The coalition was growing, and the Council was losing power by the hour. Zixtal raised all 4 hands for silence. "This is unprecedented. The Council has been the center of galactic civilization since before your species discovered fire." "Times change," Green said simply. "The question is whether the Council can change with them." Later, in a private meeting room, Zixtal faced Green alone. "You've accomplished something remarkable, human. You've begun to dismantle a system that has stood for thousands of years." Green shook his head. "Not to dismantle, to transform. The Council doesn't have to end. It just needs to evolve." "Into what?" "Into something better. Something that serves all species, not just the powerful few." Green leaned forward. "It's your choice, High Arbiter. Fight a losing battle to maintain the old ways, or help build something new." Zixtal was silent for a long moment. "Perhaps we made a mistake in our assessment of humans." Green smiled. "That's the first step toward fixing it." The Grand Hall of Earth's new galactic embassy glittered with lights. Representatives from over 40 species gathered to witness a historic moment. The Galactic Council, which had ruled space for thousands of years, was formally apologizing to humanity and recognizing the new interstellar cooperative. Ambassador Nick Green stood tall as High Arbiter Zixtal approached the podium. The blue-skinned alien looked older now, the events of the past 3 years having taken their toll. On behalf of the Galactic Council, Zixtal began, his voice carrying across the silent hall. I formally apologize for our actions toward Earth and humanity. We approached you not as equals but as resources to be managed. We threatened when we should have listened. We attempted to dominate when we should have cooperated. Green nodded slightly, acknowledging the words that had taken 3 years of struggle to earn. Today, Zixtal continued, we recognize the right of all sentient species to self-determination. The old council structure will be dissolved. In its place, the Interstellar Cooperative will establish a truly democratic system where all member worlds have equal voice. Applause filled the hall, a mixture of human clapping, drillary light flashes, and various other species' expressions of approval. Later, in a smaller meeting room, Admiral Richard Porter sat across from Council Military Commander Vex Terry. Once bitter enemies, they now reviewed plans for a joint defense force. The threat from beyond the outer rim is real, Vex Terry said, pointing to star charts. Our long-range scouts have detected signals that match no known species. Porter nodded. This is why cooperation is so important. No single world or alliance could face this alone. I admit, Vex Terry said quietly, that I never imagined working alongside humans as equals. The Council taught us that newer species required management. We all have things to learn, Porter replied. Humans have plenty of our own mistakes in our history. Across the embassy, Dr. Olivia Martinez led a group of scientists from 12 different species through Earth's new scientific exchange center. By combining our knowledge, Martinez explained, we've already developed cures for 3 diseases that were thought untreatable. This is the power of true cooperation. A young Lumari scientist, her crystalline form glowing with excitement, approached Martinez. Your approach to genetic research is fascinating. On my world, we would never have considered these methods. That's exactly why we need each other, Martinez said with a smile. Different perspectives lead to better solutions. In the embassy's central garden, Ambassador Green stood alone, watching the stars through the transparent dome above. Lieutenant Bennett, now Admiral Bennett, found him there. Quite a change from 3 years ago, she said, joining him. Green nodded. When we left those peace talks, I wasn't sure if we were making the right choice. I just knew we couldn't accept their terms. And now look what's happened. The Council apologizing. A new galactic order. Joint scientific projects. Even military cooperation. It's more than I ever hoped for, Green admitted. Bennett looked thoughtful. Do you think they've truly changed? Or are they just adapting to the new power balance? Both, probably. But change has to start somewhere. Green gestured to the embassy around them, where dozens of species mingled freely. The important thing is that the old system of domination is ending. The next day, representatives from all member worlds gathered for the signing of the Earth Accords. The document would establish the framework for the new interstellar cooperative, ensuring equal rights and responsibilities for all member species. As Green stepped forward to sign for Earth, he remembered standing in the council chamber 3 years earlier, angry and defiant. Now he felt hope. The Earth Accords began with words that would be remembered across the galaxy for generations. We, the sentient beings of the galaxy, recognizing our common dignity and rights, establish this cooperative to ensure peace, prosperity, and freedom for all worlds. Green signed his name, officially ending one era of galactic history and beginning another, one where humanity and all other species would forge a future together as equals.